What's up, everyone? How are you tonight? This won't be an official unboxing because technically speaking I received this snake earlier today at work and obviously checked on him before opening, but he's still in the box essentially because I had to keep him in there during the day at work. Just got home. So what we're going to do is take him out. I'll introduce you, talk about a little news real quick, and then we'll go ahead and I'll get you some bonus footage as I put him into his new enclosure and he checks it out for the first time, so you guys will get a chance to see that. So stay tuned. All right, so to start out, I said we had a little bit of news. I posted last night for my paid members to see. I do have another male that's going to be available, T positive. He is just had his first meal last night, so it'll be a few weeks before he's ready. Super awesome male. He's number 7 in the clutch. If you go back and watch the clutch video, very personable animal, probably the second most personable snake in the clutch. The first being the female that I already sold. Bugs are getting bad already. And then him. He's fantastic. So members have first crack as always at anything that's available. So I'm giving them a little bit of time. And then I did mention on Instagram as well that he'll be available soon. But if somebody else is interested, you can email me. You can message me on Instagram or message me on Facebook. So we just opened the bag here. Let's get this little guy out. These mosquitoes and gnats and everything else are terrible. Can't win. It finally cools down enough to be outside and the bugs start, you know. So here is the new little guy here. He is a small male Cape York spotted python. Now you might say, hey, you just take him out of the bag, you have him on this video. When you get a new snake and you're acclimating a new snake, it's not a bad idea, you know, as long as they're not visibly stressed, which he's not. He's giving you, you know, pretty normal tongue flicks and pretty normal spotted python behavior here. But as long as they're normal, whatever you want to observe them, make sure everything looks good. Obviously, he's a very nice looking animal. You know, no obvious issues. You know, you give him a little rub down here, no mites, nothing like that I can see. You know, he's acting normally, his muscle control feels good, his temperature feels good. So it's always good to give them a little bit of a once over. And this is an opportunity to handle them for a minute briefly, as long as I said they're not very stressed, before you put them in to start quarantine, where you do want to leave them alone a little bit. So you're starting to work on feeding trials and things of that nature. With a spotted python, I wouldn't be too concerned. The only small concern I might have with him is I thought he was a little bit larger based on the pictures that I was sent. And he wasn't misrepresented by any stretch. I just thought he was bigger than she was telling me he was based on the pictures. So I have him set up in a 3x18x18. But spotted pythons tend to be pretty confident in my experience with them. So far, you know, given I've only worked with a few of them. So I think he's going to be all right in there. I just might have to add a couple more hides or something if I feel like he's not really comfortable. But just fantastic animal. I've wanted for a while to get a male of this locality for my female. Obviously, she's a very big girl. Just forgive me, I'm getting bit to shit right now. I mean, torn up. My ankles are covered in bites. He... you know, he'll be the perfect match for her. So we'll give him a little time. He'll go through quarantine. It is possible that I may try to pair them up this winter. It'll really depend on him. The female's locked and loaded, ready to roll. She's in prime shape, so it would be no question. With him, it would just be how confident he is, how well he settles in, how he goes through the quarantine process. You know, if I feel like there's any issues, obviously I always hold off. But, you know, looking at him now, he looks fantastic. So as long as for the next month or two, you know, things go really well and we don't see any issues, then, and he takes off with eating and, you know, he's growing. He's about 2 years old, so he very well could be ready to roll. and it'll just all depend on what he does. But you can see, looks to be pretty docile. No spotted python biting and chewing, which some people have an issue with. All the ones that I've worked with have been fantastic in that regard. I've never had a spotted python even strike at me, let alone bite me. So I do hear a lot of people talk about them being, you know, nippy snakes and all that. I've never seen it. A friend of mine locally as well has a spotted python, same thing. That little guy's great. I don't think he's ever tried to bite her to my knowledge. And she had him from like a baby. You know, Australian pythons are very hungry often, but with these guys, my spotteds have always eaten. Never refused a meal necessarily, but you know, I've never had them be overly assertive as far as food goes. I can reach in on my female even if she's dead asleep and take her right out. But this guy seems very curious, very confident, especially for a new addition that doesn't know me. He's outside right now, totally new smells, new places. Just traveled overnight in a box from Virginia. So very pleased to have him. Look forward to working with him and getting him on the channel at other times. But for now, you guys probably won't see much of him for a little bit after this video because I just want to get him acclimated and, you know, get him thriving and through quarantine. So hopefully you guys will enjoy him. I did promise at some point soon I will get an updated video of the rat snake, which I will do. She just got upgraded into a new enclosure, so I'm kind of letting her settle into that new environment there and really get settled into that. She's already eaten in there, so I think she's pretty confident. She hasn't been out as much as she normally is in the other enclosure, but she also ate, so she could just be digesting. I have caught her out at night a couple of times, so we'll see how that goes moving forward. But she did pick up quite a bit of space, so she's adjusting. But so far, so good. So we'll get her on the channel soon. Hopefully you guys enjoy this little Cape York male here. And I am looking very forward to working with him in the future. So stay tuned right now, and you guys can catch out him, you know, going into his cage for the first time and see how he handles it. Stay tuned. All right, so as mentioned, that's the rat snake's new setup there. She's there. He's going to be above her right now. Both of these cages have been fully treated in advance, cleaned and treated for mites and all that stuff, just to make sure if there's any issues, we can limit that. I got him in my hand here, obviously, so we're going to go ahead and let him explore. I don't want him to go right into the hide. So we'll try to put him up on top here and try to get him off my hand. And then we can just kind of observe him and see what he does as he figures out new smells and new sights. And, you know, obviously, given he's going to be in quarantine for right now, you know, it's fairly barren. He still has stuff to climb on. He still has a hide in there, and he's got his water dish here, but you know, not going to go buck wild until we know everything's good and he's established and feeding and looking good, no mites, no issues. And then I'll move him onto Chip and get him a little bit more. I'll probably get him another hide. Like I said, he's a little bit smaller than I thought, so we'll get him an additional hide there. He's coming around the corner. I can't really get in there where you guys can see right now. He's coming towards us in a second. You should see him behind the hide. There he is. Oh, you can't see him. I can. If I had the camera flipped the other side, you'd be able to see him a little bit better with the door in the way. Wonder if I can get up and over here. Maybe you can see him a little bit better. No, I can't really get the angle, but he's coming. You'll see him in a minute here. Wow. It's really annoying that I can't get in that angle. There you go. Zoom in, you can see him right there. He's checking everything out. Very curious. But I've had this thing temping up and I'm happy where it's at. Get dog hair in there. I love the fact that dog hair just gets everywhere. Oh, he's just doing his little thing over there. A little head coming out. Tongue flicks, you know, he's very engaged with the environment right now. But I'm sure he'll do some exploring at some point and check stuff out and maybe do some climbing. So I'll shut this for now and maybe I'll wait a little bit, and if he's out and about, I'll add another little clip here. If not, and he just goes into his hide, we'll leave him be. So for now, we'll say goodbye and either stay tuned or don't. We'll see you guys.